Just two more malls and the winter adventure is done, and we move on to greener pastures, shores, and mountains. Today, we find ourselves at the Fair Oaks Mall, another Taubman original that is actually still under ownership by Taubman. Fair Oaks Mall is another Taubman original opening up at the end of July in 1980 as Taubman's foray into Northern Virginia. The mall was designed to be a high-profile regional mall from the ground up, as it boasted its own on- and off-ramps on US 50 accompanied by easy access to and from Interstate 66. Original anchors included Sears, JCPenney, Woodward and Lothrop, and Hecht's, as well as a Garfinkel's as a junior anchor. At the time, the mall was built amid the edge of the countryside, but Northern Virginia has been experiencing nearly constant and explosive growth, which has caused suburban sprawl to pass the mall and continue westward along Interstate 66. This would help provide quite the customer base for Fair Oaks Mall. In addition, Fair Oaks Mall was shrugging off the Manassas Mall to the west while battling with Landmark Mall, Springfield Mall, and Tyson's Corner Center. Even the Dulles Town Center didn't offer much of a challenge to Fair Oaks. Fair Oaks Mall maintained its profile as Fair Oaks managed to secure Lord & Taylor in 1981, which moved in between Sears and JCPenney. Woodward and Lothrop would then take over the Garfinkels as the company folded in 1990, using the junior anchor space as a home store. Fair Oaks Mall would, however, face heating competition as Nordstrom omitted opening at Fair Oaks Mall in favor of Tyson's Corner Center, and would also face additional competition by the opening of Tyson's Galleria. In addition, Fair Oaks would lose Woodward and Lothrop to bankruptcy. This was, however, addressed as Lord & Taylor jumped for the vacancy and relocated from their old pad, while Macy's 1 would move into the old Lord & Taylor space. Fair Oaks Mall maintains its relevance with a high-end format of Forever 21 in the old Garfinkel space. Macy's would acquire and vor Hecht's in 2006, but would operate a secondary store in the Hecht's pad. The mall is also, curiously, still listed as owned and managed by Taubman Centers. Their big challenge for this mall would come in the form of Sears, which closed in November 2018 despite a full renovation taking place just a year prior. This leaves quite a gap for Taubman Centers to fill, which I will be curious to see what they fill in the void with. You can see that this mall was renovated, particularly recently. Shiny, sterile tiles line where conversation pits once stood, and it is particularly noticeable in that center court, which once boasted a rather impressive fountain. I can't help but feel disappointed that these features have all been removed. I suppose it isn't all too bad, as the abstract statues have remained in place, but still, I long for the day when planters, conversation pits, and fountains make a comeback. And back there was JCPenney, which, now that Sears is gone, remains as the only original anchor left in the mall. And right now, JCPenney is having problems of its own. I'm not sure if it'll be the next thing to close at this mall, but we'll have to wait and see. Despite the setback of Sears and potentially JCPenney, this mall is no slouch. People are still showing up to this mall in great numbers and shopping, or at the very least hanging out. This mall still has an audience to please, and I expect Taubman Centers, or whoever they pass the torch to maintain that audience and provide a good experience for them. Now, this space over here was a potential expansion for an anchor that never came to fruition. Possible expansion for Nordstrom? Saks Fifth Avenue? We may never know for sure, but we do end up with a very interesting mall entrance. You walk in, and next thing you know, you're going down the escalator to the lower level. I also enjoy the escalator and staircase combo that is present in many Taubman malls. Every mall should have those, really. Another feature that's remained intact in Taubman malls like these are the ceilings and skylights. Some refer to these as Star Wars ceilings. Very unique and interesting with skylights peppered all throughout. Be difficult to remove that from the mall. In fact, this mall as a whole still possesses a unique shape inside. To quote Faded Commerce, every angle in this mall is there for a reason. I didn't pay much mind to the stores throughout the mall. You do have your standard fare like Build-A-Bear and Bath & Body Works, but you also have some particularly odd stores like Sheepskin Gifts and Alpacas too. That store looks nice, I'll give them that, but I've never seen that store before. And here we are before what was originally Hex, especially for you. And down in front is some more interesting abstract sculptures. I love that pan shot of the abstract sculpture with the ceiling above it. If the conversation pits were still in place, that shot would have been peak Taubman. All in all, Fair Oaks Mall is holding out very well, far from dead. You are hard-pressed to find any vacancies in this mall, save for that Sears at the opposite end, which does stick out like a sore thumb. Regardless, I can see management resolving that Sears and adapting to survive and thrive. Ignoring the blandification of this mall, I'm hoping to see it continue surviving and making a name for itself in Northern Virginia as a sensible alternative to Tyson's Corner. I suppose while on the subject, what do you think should fill in the void left behind by Sears? More retail or some kind of experience? Comment below and tell me what you think. I'll tell you one thing I like about this mall. While there are kiosks throughout the mall, they are fewer and further in between than at, say, Hanes Mall. Some are still stands of just jewelry and sometimes junk, but there are some coffee or tea stands and snack stalls which may actually be of use, as well as what looks to be a guy with massage chairs. That's a bit odd. And now, as we pass by Sears, Seared, we're coming to an end with the video. I do hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of Fair Oaks Mall. Did you enjoy the video? Did you hate it? Like, or dislike, and comment below about it. And do share if you really enjoyed the video. I'm gonna go off the cuff for a moment and say that part of the consistent begging for comments and likes comes from our algorithmic overlords, who seem to love engagement, shares especially. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but your engagement does help a lot. Additionally, we do have the Dead Mall's Discord as well if you want to discuss more about this mall. We have a number of awesome creators, and the server was founded by Sal of the Expedition Log series. Look for a link to the server below. Just answer a few questions with the mods, and you will be all set up.
Thank you.
Well guys, until next time, this is Doomie Grunt wishing you and the Fair Oaks Mall farewell and good luck.